Hey all, welcome back to the part 6 of AI 900 exam questions and answers. Please do like, share and subscribe our channel and make it to your friends so they can also prepare for their AI exams. Let's move on to the questions. Dash is used to generate additional features. Option A, feature engineering. Option B, feature selection. Option C, model evaluation. Option D, model training. The answer is feature engineering. It is creating new features. Feature engineering means creating new features, and feature selection means columns in a dataset. So, feature engineering is used to generate additional features. You use Azure Machine Learning Designer to create a training pipeline for a classification model. What must you do before deploying the model as a service? Option A, add an evaluate model module to the training pipeline. Option B, create an inference pipeline from the training pipeline. Option C, clone the training pipeline with a different name. The answer is option B, create an inference pipeline from the training pipeline. You want to use automated machine learning to train a regression model with the best possible R2 score. How should you configure the automated machine learning experiment? Options A, set the primary metric to R2 score. B, enable featureization. C, block all algorithms other than gradient boosting. The correct answer is option A, set the primary metric to R2 score. You are working in a tour and tourism company. Your company wants to use the computer vision service to analyze the image of locations and identify well-known monuments. What should you do? Option A, retrieve the objects in the image. Option B, retrieve the categories for the image specifying the celebrity's domain. Option C, retrieve the categories for the image specifying the landmark's domain. The correct answer is option C, retrieve the categories for the image specifying the landmark's domain. Because in the question it's specified we want to get the well-known monument details. So the option is C. Why do you split data into training and validation sets? Options A, splitting data into two sets enables you to compare the labels that the model predicts with the actual non-labels in the original data set. Option B, data is split into two sets in order to create two models, one model with the training set and a different model with the validation set. Option C, only split data when you use the Azure Machine Learning Designer, not in other machine learning scenarios. The correct option is A, splitting data into two sets enables you to compare the labels that the model predicts with the actual known labels in the original dataset. From Azure Machine Learning Designer to deploy a real-time inference pipeline as a service for others to consume, you must deploy the model to which of the following? Option A, Azure machine learning computer. Option B, Azure Kubernetes service. Option C, a local web service. Option D, Azure container instances. The correct answer is option B, Azure Kubernetes service. You want to use the computer vision service to identify the location of individual items in an image. Which of the following features should you retrieve? Option A, tags. B, objects, and C, categories. The correct answer is option B, objects. Predicting how many vehicles will travel across a bridge on a given day is an example of A, classification, B, regression, C, clustering. Answer is regression, as vehicles we have to count and the numeric values comes under regression. You want to use the computer vision service to analyze images. You also want to use the text analytics service to analyze text. You want developers to require only one key and endpoint to access all of your services. What kind of resource should you create in Azure subscription? Option A, computer vision. Option B, custom vision. Option C, cognitive services. The correct answer is option C, cognitive services. The cognitive service supports both computer vision and language service. You use an Azure machine learning designer pipeline to train and test a binary classification model. You review the model's performance metrics in an evaluate model module and note that it has an AUC score of 0.3. What can you conclude about the model? Option A, the model predicts accurately for 70% of test cases. Option B, the model performs worse than random guessing. Option C, the model can explain 30% of the variance between true and predicted labels. The correct answer is option B, the model performs worse than random guessing. You are using Azure Machine Learning Designer to create a training pipeline for a binary classification model. You have added a data set containing features and labels, a two-class decision forest module, and a train model module. You plan to use core model and evaluate model modules to test the trained model with a subset of the data set that was not used for training. Which additional kind of module should you use or add? Option A, split data. B, join data. C, select column in data set. Answer is option A, split data. The ability to extract subtotals and totals from a receipt is a capability of the following. Option A, custom vision. Option B, form recognizer. Option C, ink recognizer. Option D, text analytics. Answer is option B, form recognizer. You plan to use the custom vision service to train an image classification model. You want to create a resource that can only be used for model training and not for prediction. Which kind of resource should you create in your Azure subscription? Option A, custom vision. Option B, cognitive services. Option C, computer vision. The correct answer is option A, custom vision. What information must you provide to developers who want to use image classification model? Option A, only the project ID. Option B, the project ID, the model name and the key and endpoint for the prediction resource. Option C, the project ID, iteration number and the key and endpoint for the training resource. The answer is option B, the project ID, model name and the key and endpoint for the prediction resource. You train an image classification model that achieves less than satisfactory evaluation metrics. How might you improve it? Option A, add more images to the training set. Option B, reduce the size of the images used to train the model. Option C, add a new label for unknown classes. The correct answer is option A, add more images to the training set. Which of the following results does an object detection model typically turn for an image? Option A, class label and probability score for the image. Option B, a class label, probability and bounding box for each object in the image. Option C, bounding box, coordinates that indicates the region of the image where all of the images it contains are located. The correct answer is option B, a class label, probability and bounding box for each object in the image. You plan to use the computer vision service to read text in a large PDF document. Which API should you use? Option A, the read API, option B, the OCR API, and option C, the recognize text API. The answer is the read API. This is for the large content and OCR API it's for small content. In the question it's specified there is a large PDF document, so the answer is the read API. Your company digital lab is in business of digitalization of a library, and for that they need to extract text from scanned books. Further, the need is to use the text analytics service to analyze the extracted text. Company wants developers to use only one key endpoint to access all of the services. What kind of resource should you create in the Azure subscription? Option A, computer vision. Option B, cognitive services. Option C, text analytics. The answer is option B, cognitive services. You plan to use face to detect human faces in an image. How does the service indicate the location of the faces it determines? Option A, a set of coordinates for each face defining a rectangular bounding box around the face. Option B, a pair of coordinates for each face indicating the center of the face. Option C, two pairs of coordinates for each face indicating the location of eyes. The correct answer is option A, a set of coordinates for each face defining a rectangular bounding box around the face. What is one aspect that may impair facial detection? Option A, smile expression. Option B, extreme ankles. Option C, fast shutter speed. The correct answer is extreme ankles. That is all for part 6. Thank you for watching the video. Let's see on the next part. Bye bye.